Hi 522 students! One of your assignments this semester is to convene as small groups and discuss the case stories that were assigned and then write reflections about each of these case stories. You'll notice that for each of these case stories there's a folder on Blackboard, and if you click in each of these folders you'll find directions for this case. Oftentimes there's a video that tells you some things to consider and gives you questions to organize your reflections. It doesn't matter if you're all online at a specific time, but what matters is that you guys, no matter what format you end up using, pick a time to be online together. A lot of people find it easiest to choose the class time because everybody is available at that time. The discussion boards through Blackboard is one way to convene as a group, but you may decide to meet in person if you live near one another, or you may decide to have a conference call, or one of my favorite new technologies is OOVOO, O-O-V-O-O, which is similar to Skype, has fewer issues than I've experienced with Skype. And so you may choose to convene that way. It doesn't really matter how you choose to convene to discuss the case stories. As a group, what you'll do is discuss maybe your initial reactions to the case story after reading it. And you'll probably bring in some opinions and personal thoughts on the case story, but then I want you to, as a group, go through a decision-making process. And I've posted the decision-making process that P.J. McWilliam wrote on Blackboard. But I want you to think about, for each of the cases, what's going on here? What are the major issues? What are some of the things contributing to the major issues? What are some of the positives? Can you identify the positives in this case story? And then think about, what do we want to have happen? What would be the ideal outcome going from where we are now in this case? And what might we choose to do? So as a group, you'll discuss each of these portions of the decision-making process as you consider the case story, and then talk about each of the questions that I posed for you to think about with the case story. After your group finishes, then you'll write an individual reflection. The reflection papers are not something that the group does, but what you do individually. It may be that you agree with your group. It may be that you don't agree with where your group arrived, and you'll write about this. So you'll organize your reflection papers by the questions that I posed, and you'll present your answer and support it with the literature. So you may write about what Bronfenbrenner had to say about ecological systems theory as it relates to your response. You may find some support in the readings that I gave you, some of which was written by the author of the chapter, but there are also internal cites in each of these chapters. And it's okay for this exercise for you to cite the internal citations. So if in your chapter they talk about Samaroff and Chandler describing a particular type of interaction, you may say Samaroff and Chandler said. So you can, unlike a normal paper where you would go find the original source for the reflections, it's okay if you cite the internal source. Once you finish your reflection, you'll proofread it and make sure to look at the syllabus to ensure that you've included everything that's required, and upload that to Blackboard under the folder that has the case story. There will be a place that says View or Complete Assignment, and that's where you'll upload your reflection. And then in class, as a large group, we'll discuss where each of the groups arrived and compare our opinions and how we might react in this case differently from one another. I look forward to reading your responses.